I always say hello as if there's people immediately here as soon as the stream starts. Like, oh my God, hi. Give me a second. I wanna click some buttons. Yeah, I just set up my posts for when I start streaming, and I don't like telling people I started streaming until I've actually started streaming. So all the time um you will see me post you'll just see me kind of like go and just mess around with social media a bit. You won't actually see me, but you'll see me posting, um which is whatever. That's cool. So don't report chat. I'm sorry. I want to pull up the stream chat. Um, Even though I can just see it through OBS, it's just a little bit cumbersome the way I have it set up in OBS. So I just much rather have this thing. Um, Always on top, close. All right. So hey everybody, hey everybody to people who will see this, on YouTube, people who are watching it now. Hello, I have a few things I need to talk about, but hey everybody, I don't want to say let me do intros because this is a little bit more unofficial. I, I'll I'll explain in a minute. Well, first of all, I'm Chad Stewart. I'm a software engineer from Kingston, Jamaica. Um, Mostly doing front end development, but I want to kind of delve into full stack development, and my back end skills need work. So generally the stream would be my attempt to get better at back end engineering. That is likely not to be the case today. Um, it will likely not be the case today, and I will explain right now because I don't have a reason to not do so. So if you for people who are noticing, the title is like, oh, I had some great convos. So pretty much, I interviewed with a company within the last week or so, and I found that I was lacking in skill set. And so I wasn't sure how much skill set I was lacking. And just sent a tweet out on Twitter. Let me actually move this camera a little bit. There we go. I sent a tweet out and was just like, hey, I'm not sure what's my skill set. I don't know if I did say I have a lot of years of experience, but there's a disparity at the very least from my head. There's a disparity between the years of experience that my resume has and the things that I actually can say in an interview. And when I noticed that, I was just like, no, I have no idea how much what I don't know. How could you, right? So the best thing I thought of doing is just pinging Twitter, and then people who would know or would have a better idea, I would be able to say, hey, this is, you know, here's what we do. Just kind of give me small projects, or not small projects, but kind of give me an idea of what of a project that you think I should be able to do, and I will say whether or not I can do it, like whatever. That's besides the point. So I came across Tabs. She goes by Lady of Code, I believe. Shout out to her. We had an excellent conversation over the weekend. Um, and that conversation has kind of got me thinking about how I engage with this work. Um, yeah, it has got me thinking about how I'm doing this work. Um, Pretty much. So pretty much the conversation, like my thought was that we would kind of, I had kind of like a game plan about how the conversation would go, or not how the conversation would go, but how we could kind of approach this, because spoken with another person, and I was just like, hey, this is what I think the problem is. This is what I think we could do to come up with a good solution. But for whatever reason, I didn't go with that. And I was just saying, hey, what do you think would be a good thing? And then that spurred like a good hour of good conversation about pretty much leveling up as an engineer. Um, and one of the things that we talked about, now I don't want to say that this is literally her literal representation, because obviously it is my interpretation of what she said. And it was at a, actually I need to talk about the COVID vaccine. I'll talk about that in a minute. Um, it's my interpretation of what she said, and I was a little bit under the weather at the time. I'll talk about that in a moment. I was a little bit under the weather at the time. It was a little bit late, not necessarily too late, but it was a little bit late. I definitely need to speak to her again. Um, Definitely would need to speak to her again, but yeah, like pretty much. I guess the thing is, the more I think about it, especially with just working on the job hunting, sorry, on the To Do app, the more I think about it is I feel like and I mean I tried to do this initially. I think I'm kind of taking this approach backwards, where the approach that I'm taking is a bottom up approach, is, oh, build the skill set that you would need to build the skill set that you would need to to be able to build applications, right? Um and so I'm like, okay, let's learn backend engineering. Let's learn the discipline, right? As opposed to being more project focused, which again was kind of the thought process I kind of walked in with, but like thought process, and then, oh, this, I'm just going to do this, right? So as opposed to that, what I feel like I'm doing, or sorry, I feel like the better idea is to focus more on projects. Now, people, the To Do app is a project, right? Project, or it's an app, whatever, however you want to say it. The thing about the To Do app, and the most important thing is, like, when you kind of, if you go back to the VODs and watch how I talked about the application and how I talked about kind of engaging it, and I need to go turn that off. Who is this? Oh, it's Katrina. Um, Let me close that for now. And yeah, the way I kind of engaged with building the app is that the app itself was important. Like, I don't want to say the app itself wasn't important. I should be kind of more frank about that. The app itself wasn't important, and to be quite frank, it wasn't too important. I built it, and I would say that, hey, yeah, I built this app. It's awesome. Um, though the value that I would have extracted from building the app doesn't necessarily come from the app itself. The app itself does not have that much value because there's to-do lists everywhere. There's tutorial to build to-do lists. Like, it's not hard, right? I don't want to say it's not hard, sorry. That's not the right thing to say. But there's a lot of documentation on how to build to-do lists specifically. Like, should you build a to-do list? Probably, especially if you're much younger as a engineer. You should to kind of practice, and that's kind of one of the reasons I was thinking, not necessarily because I was young, but as practice, right? The thing is that, and this kind of mainly comes from the conversation. And again, I don't want to be like, oh, this is what Tabs told me to do, so I'm gonna do it because she's right and everybody else is wrong. This is kind of like my what I took away from it. Um, if I'm going to build something and learn techniques, and so if I'm going to build something and learn techniques and so on and so forth, I probably should build something worthwhile, if that makes any sense. And by the way, this is all still kind of jumbled in my head. This is one of the reasons why this stream might be a little bit of a shorter stream. Because to be honest, I really don't know how I'm going to move forward. Like the way I'm approaching the To Do app is I'm not using a tutorial. So I'm treating the To Do app as if it were a regular app, as if I I'm treating the To Do app as if I was building it with the intent of launching it, with the intent of it having users. Um, and with the idea that there is absolutely no documentation about how to build the To Do app. It's never existed in history, and I am going to be the explorer software engineer that's going to build this fabulous new thing called a To Do app, right? Um, that's kind of how I that was kind of the approach that I took. And the approach is not necessarily a bad approach, right? It's not a bad approach at all, And to be honest, if I were to build anything of consequence, obviously that's the approach that I would take. And not when I mean of consequence, as in if I were to build an app that doesn't exist or doesn't exist in the form that I envision it, I have no choice but to build it that way, right? To build it as if there's no documentation that exists, because in essence, there's no documentation that exists for this app, else it would exist, and I would just go and grab somebody else's code, right? So, the point really is I think I'm not going to build the to-do list. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if I'm going to continue building it, or I don't know if I'm going to continue building it on stream. Um, like I feel like there is some value to building the to-do list. But the value really comes from learning the technologies and techniques, and it doesn't actually come from the to-do list being put into existence. Again, there are to-do lists everywhere. I'm not going to add that much more value to a to-do list, and that wasn't even the intention. I'm not going to add that much more value into the world, building another to-do list, and that wasn't even the intention anyway. Um, and I mean, this is a long explanation to say I'm probably not going to. I don't know if I'm going to work on the to-do list anymore. Um, so what does that even mean? Why does this even matter, right? It matters a little bit, or not a little bit. It matters because of this. My intention, um, so I guess first of all, I've been saying the phrase back-end engineering a lot on the stream. It's been in my titles. I say it all the time. So the intention is to learn to be a full stack engineer. The intention is that I on my own can take an application from planning to execution and maintenance, right? I can do all of that on my own. That's kind of the idea. So I can build the front end, I can build the middleware. I really don't like the phrase middleware, even though it's correct. I don't like it. The middleware, the API layer, I guess, and then the database layer, the data layer. Then I can launch the application, and then maybe whatever it is to it's a part of the stream docs, right? So that's the intention, right? But if I'm going to sit down and learn to do all of these things, which all take time, I might as well be doing that, producing something of value, you know, which that is actually now the next hurdle. If that is if that becomes now a criteria for building anything on this stream, what is valuable, or whatever. I don't want to say what is valuable. Long story short, um, I think I'm going to approach this problem in two different ways. We may continue to build the to-do app until I come up with a better idea. And when I mean a better idea, is in maybe within the next couple of days to week. Um, so, what was it? Right. So I was thinking of. All right. So what I want to do, what I eventually want to do is to build a SaaS well, I want to be able to build SaaS products, Like I haven't been thinking about it in I'm sorry, there's strange noises all over the place. I haven't been The house is haunted. I haven't been thinking about I haven't been thinking about kind of the broad terms of the all of this, right? The point of all of this, right? I've been so focused on the idea of learning back-end engineering, like I haven't really been focused on the value add of that, mainly because the value add is kind of intuitive in a sense. So you learn back-end engineering, the value add is now you know back-end engineering. And by the way, that is me saying knowing back-end engineering is what, how would I put it? It degrades the discipline. It's like, oh, in 5 minutes I can learn back-end engineering. It's like, so that's not even probably the right phrase, but um, Uh, oh, hey Alexandria, thank you for stopping by. This may not necessarily be that long of a stream. You saw the tweet during the weekend about speaking with Tabs, and I'm thinking of just kind of changing up the stream, based on that conversation. I don't have everything fleshed out, but I don't know if what I was doing before was providing the value that I wanted it to provide. And so, to be honest with you, I've been thinking about it for a while, probably the last day or two. Um, Definitely was thinking about it today, and I was just like, what, you know, what am I going to do for this stream? Should I just continue doing what I was doing? And that's another thing that I need to talk about as well. So, anyways, I kind of lost my train of thought. But the most important thing is I have two ways of tackling the problem of how do I choose something that when I build it, it may potentially provide value. And I was going into SaaS, and let me not even worry about that. So I have a few app ideas that I think are valuable. First of all, there's still the tech is hiring application, which I'm seriously considering just starting, like either next stream or either starting next stream or or I don't know, but that's something. And I mean, that's interesting because I have to build a front end for it, and then I have to expand the Twitter bot to support the app. And like the MVP for that app is actually fairly small. Um, it's actually fairly small. It's pretty much just you know, taking the list of maybe not even well probably taking the list of uh, uh yeah, totally fine. I spoke with Tabs about struggling with code and providing value while you stream and things along that line. So you're definitely not alone. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. It's kind of difficult because it's like how like practice is I don't want to say practice is boring. Practice isn't necessarily I don't know. It's weird. It's really weird because it's like you're practicing something but you're watching you're kind of struggling. I don't know. You know what? I don't know. I don't know. It's hard. It's a hard question to answer. It's a hard question to answer if nothing else. But where was I? Yeah, um, so the MVP for tech is hiring like web app is not big at all. It's pretty much a front end that would display a certain amount of of posts from that have the tag. Um, and maybe adding like pagination to it or something like that. It wouldn't be complicated. It wouldn't be complicated. I don't want to say that. I need to not say that. But it would be, I think it would be something that goes fairly quickly. Again, I don't want to say that. I feel like it's something that's doable, you know, with my current skill set, or it's not even that far off from, not even that far off from, what my skill set is, and that immediately provides value. Oh, thanks, Nightbot. And that immediately provides value. Um, yeah, that immediately provides value because now people can search for. They don't need to be on Twitter. I really should turn my phone off. That's the reason why I silence my phone during the stream. You know what? Give me one moment. Let me silence my phone. I'm not even going to go on BRB or anything. Give me one moment. Just get my phone. Needed to deliver the MVP. The T-shirt size is small. Oh no, this is probably like a X, not even an extra large. This is probably like 2X or 3X. And there are only few user stories needed. Yeah, like actually that's a good question. What would the user stories be? It wouldn't be that much. I think it would be maybe it wouldn't be that much user stories. Um that's a important point though. Thank you for reminding me. The thing about that is I have to plan that app out, right? Even if it doesn't take that long, I have to plan the app out. You know what I mean? And then immediately there's people that can use it. And then people can use it and people can tell me, hey, could you add this or could you add that? Or I could just sit there and be like, hey, it'd be really cool, and then people would say, hey, I love it or I hate it or whatever. Like I can do stuff with that. You know what I mean? Anyways, so I have kind of, like I said, I have two solutions to the problem, which is in essence come up with my own ideas and try to execute them. And the ideas themselves would have varying levels of value or of potential value, I should say. So, like for instance, idea one would so like there's an idea that I've had, which I spoke to somebody else about, is the idea of building a website or yeah, a website. Um, I don't want to say a web app, but it would be a website where that would help teach you how to play fighting games, right? The problem is with that app is that it's a lot more social than it is technical, right? It's a lot more about connections, a lot more about where you're getting the information. But anyways, that's not the point. The point is I would come up with my own ideas, and then I just be like, hey, this seems like a good idea, and I'd build it. The problem with that approach, let's not even worry about the problem with that approach. It's an approach. The second idea, and something I'm leaning towards more, um, is to to potentially join open source projects, just projects in general. Let's even not worry about whether or not they're open source or not. To join projects that exist that are looking for people, um, and are looking for people to solve problems that would, in essence, teach me full stack skills. So first of all, I would kind of stop saying I'm learning backend engineering because ultimately I'm trying to be a full stack engineer, right? Like I said backend engineering because I was trying to learn that skill set because that was the lacking part of my full stack experience, which that's not even that true. But anyways, um, so right. So in essence, I would join a project, either it's brand new, or I want to say what everybody says, what green projects? Green. I almost said Green Hill Zone project. Yes, which is funny. It's actually effective because Green Hill Zone is usually the first stage in Sonic. But I'm gonna join a Green Hill Zone project. That's what Greenfield. Yeah, that's why I said Green Hill Zone. Greenfield project. Yeah, I'm gonna. You know what? I say we all call it Green Hill Zone project from now on. Loop de loops and rings everywhere. Yeah, so I'm gonna grow. I'm thinking of joining a Green Hill Zone project. Mm. Better than those chemical plant zone project. Oh my god! Protect the earth, man. Protect the earth. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. But yeah, um, I would join a project that would kind of give me the opportunity to learn or not give me the opportunity, that would push me to have to learn full stack engineering. And it would push me by kind of giving me some focus to uh I'm still thinking about the chemical plant zone projects. But it would, what you call it would push me to learn this stuff, and it would push me to learn this stuff by going, hey, if you want to complete this issue, if you want to fix this issue, you're gonna have to use you're gonna have to do this, and you're gonna have to learn how to do it. It's either that or you don't do it, right? So as opposed to learning from the bottom up, as opposed to kind of like building this skill set that I may not necessarily leverage exactly the way I built it, start from the top down, start from the problem, which is in essence what the idea is. So where do I get my problems from? I either identify problems that I want to attempt to solve, and I think that would be that would be interesting too, is just having a session just identifying problems. Like that's a very important skill to have, is to be like, and I mean, a problem is an opportunity in disguise, right? So, you know, like it's a problem, but there's opportunity to be captured from that problem, especially if you don't own the thing that's causing the problem, right? So, like for instance, if Twitter didn't have, because this is a conversation all the damn time. If Twitter didn't actually have a way of seeing your feed, um, if seeing your feed chronologically, then that's an opportunity for people to build something where it's like, hey, you can look through Twitter chronologically now. Isn't that awesome? You know what I mean? Like, it's opportunity in disguise, especially because again they don't own Twitter. So if Twitter gives them the whatever they need to build that, and they do that perfectly fine, like that it's not free. Obviously it costs them time to build the thing and then to test it and so on and so forth. But excuse me, but it's an opportunity for them that they can leverage. Anyways, um so that's pretty much it for that. So I really should have started the stream off with, and all right, so I guess to sum that up, the idea is I am not sure, or I'm not gonna say I'm not sure. I probably won't work on the To Do app for much longer, at the very least on stream. I may work on it on my own, and if anything, I can give updates. But I probably won't work on it on stream. Uh, the idea is to do one of two things, maybe potentially both things. Is to is to is to come up with my own ideas and try to work on them, and then go through the entire software development lifecycle, to to come up with my own ideas and then execute on them, and whatever. The only issue that I have with this, the only worry that I have with this is, a lot of that kind of comes down to what's the problem, what is the solution you're proposing? Is the solution actually going to have value for your users, and like that is a very long process, which is why the second thing is just choose a project that already exists and work on that, you know because I don't especially if it's open source, I don't have to fully commit to I don't know. Let me not say that. I don't have to fully commit to the project, right? I can, hey, I'll help here and there and so on and so forth. And, I get some valuable learnings there, you know. And depending on how new the project is, they may need some very basic stuff, and I can work on my very basic stuff. And then, like, the stuff that you see me struggle with, which is, like, again, making the To Do app, I don't necessarily have to do that on stream. I can just do that on my own. But yeah, I think especially for on stream, I just want to work on stuff that provides value. I may have to come back and kind of be more clear about what that is, because like I said, I haven't been thinking about this stuff for very long. Like I even thought about, man, if I'd streamed on Friday, again I will get to that in just 1 second, but if I streamed on Friday, I would have just been working on the To Do app, like, nothing was going on, because at the time nothing was going on. Even though I had made that tweet, nothing was going on, right? Anyhow, so, so that's the idea, just in essence, build things that provide value with the intention of it providing value. Um, anyhow, for sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So there was no stream on Friday. For people who follow me on Twitter, I made a post, a tweet. I'm saying a post, damn it. I made a post saying why there was no stream. I got vaccinated on Thursday. I felt a tad bit weak on Thursday, but mostly because I hadn't eaten that much. But I felt good. I felt good by the end of Thursday. Kind of went to bed, woke up with a fever, which you're getting vaccinated. You got vaccinated. Woke up with a fever. Um, had the fever for the most of the day. I would say the fever cleared around midday because I woke up around 5 in the morning, 5, 6 in the morning, because I had just gone to bed at like 8 or something. Like I had gone to bed super early, the Thursday. Woke up Friday, um, was in bed the entire time. Generally by 6 or 7, I'm out of bed doing stuff. Woke up. Thankfully, it was actually holiday, but woke up, was couldn't really do much. And then I was like, oh, let me go. Like by 12, I was just like, you know what? I'm just being here lazy, even though I have a fever. I'm being here lazy. Let me go at least try to get some breakfast. So I get out of bed and my legs are wobbling. I was like, okay, that's a serious problem. I am sick. So I sit myself back in the bed. And long story short, I didn't eat anything. I had gone 20 hours without eating, and the only reason why I decided that I was going to eat because I still was a little bit feverish. Like I don't want to say the fever broke, but it definitely went down by 1 o'clock. Um, I but for like the entire time I was awake, I had that fever. Um, and I was just like, you know what? I'm too weak to stream. Like, I had a few things planned for the day, and I was just like, I'm not doing any of it. Um, I had the fever. Like, the fever came and went, over the course of the weekend. Um, like Friday when I spoke with Tabs, I still had a bit of a fever. I think it went away at the time. Um, Ironically, I feel like the fever comes. I'm checking myself. The fever comes because I'm on air conditioning. It came during when I was under AC. I noticed. Like I'd be like, okay, unless I was just perceiving it more because now the atmosphere is colder. Anyways, whatever, right? So that's the reason why I didn't stream. I got the COVID vaccine, and I don't want to say it knocked me out. It didn't put me on my ass, but yeah, I was just like, I'm gonna take a break today. Hey man, hey, what's up? Yeah, it's going. So it's not like the super Cody streams that I usually do. Like a lot of the times, I'll do like a 3 to 5 hour stream, um, of me just coding and kind of talking, you know, and stuff like that. But right now, I had a conversation and it's just kind of making me think about how I approach the stream. And to be honest, I kind of just want to talk about that right now. I don't say I don't want to code. The thing is that the project that I was working on doesn't necessarily fall into this new idea, and so I don't think I really want to work on it right now. Plus, it was a to-do app, so it's not that interesting. Yeah, yeah, it's cool. Downtime is good. Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping to kind of get back into it because I like it. Oh, yeah. So I don't know. So okay, I'm looking at OBS right now. I'm looking at OBS. I'm looking at OBS and the mixer. Whenever I speak, it's in the green bar, but it's very close to the yellow. And I mostly want to keep it out of the red because I'm a very loud person and I can get very loud. And somebody else complained about the mic volume, and when I turned it up and then I think I sneezed or coughed or something, they were like, okay, that was a bit loud. And so I don't want to change the volume too much because I don't want to like blow out anybody's ears by accident. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, this is the only audio input I have. Um, and it is, what is it? It is not onboard audio. Um, uh, we can understand. It's just a bit muted. Okay. Yeah, no, it's not onboard audio. Because for whatever reason, Linux doesn't, or Linux. Well, Linux doesn't have drivers for this machine, for a lot of the things for this machine. What do you call it? For the audio, for the audio components for this machine. And so um no drivers. So I have to use the stuff that came with this mic just to get audio. Like I can't get audio in or out. So I just make do with what I have. I don't know if it's a USB thing. I don't know if like I don't know if I had if I was using the native audio, like I have a 3.5 millimeter port. If I just plug directly into that, if the mic would be better. Um anyways, whatever. Sad face. So the third thing that I wanted to talk about, um the third thing that I wanted to talk about was, what was it? Yes. So the stream itself. So in essence, the first thing was the content. The second thing, which should have been the first thing, was why there was no stream on Friday. I just pretty much giving a quick update on the Chad who is great, the Chad, and let me not make what you call it, Charlie's Angels jokes. But yeah, um. Right. So the third thing that I want to talk about is the stream itself. So, when I started streaming with this very concrete idea. The idea was I'm going to learn back in engineering. I'm going to learn back in engineering through this very elaborate, um how do I put it? Not elaborate, but I'm going to write like a lesson plan for myself. And if things change, I will update the lesson plan, but going to be very step by step and thorough about it, right? This the stream content, the stream itself, not the stream content, sorry, the stream itself, um this kind of comes from another friend, a conversation that I had. Um, the it is the this comes from a conversation that I had before, and like I think I had 2 weeks ago with a friend, or a week and a half ago with a friend, um, about the stream. Like I do want to. I want to learn software engineering concepts, right? And I want to learn them in public. I want to learn and build in public. That's in essence what the stream is supposed to be. And what I really want to do is leverage the leverage like the viewers and pretty much build a community, you know. Or and maybe not even maybe I shouldn't even say build. Like I might have to kind of rethink what the stream is supposed to be. But in essence, I wanted to be able to have people kind of come through and we all build this thing together, whatever the thing is. We either all build or we all work or we all do this thing together, like that was kind of the idea. Um, so what I wanted to say pretty much is I guess this whole setup is to say I just kind of want to experiment with the stream. Like again, I walked in with a very concrete idea on what I wanted the stream to be, and so I just want to play around with some stuff. like so. But the the concrete part of the stream, which is in essence me trying to get better as a software engineer, um, that will happen at the regular times, right? So, um, like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, that will happen the regular times, right? So it will happen at 6, I stream at 6. Um, Originally it was from 6 to 9. Um, to be honest, that will be up in the air. But definitely at 6 Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I want to, I am going to stream. And I'm going to stream myself coding something. You know what I mean? Maybe I shouldn't even say coding something, but learning something, or I don't know. The concrete part of, oh, thanks for the follow. I should have encouraged you to follow. This feels weird. I don't want like new people to come like, hey, new person, follow, even though you're obviously not new, but you know me. But I don't want to be like, hey, thanks for coming into the stream. Follow me right now, or I will ban you forever, grr. You know. Um, Anyways, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I want to do something towards that goal of improving myself as a software engineer. You know what? Let's be more concrete about it. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I want to work on, for now, I want to work on improving myself as a software engineer concretely, right? Um, I why did I say concretely? But I want to improve I want to improve as a software engineer. So um, through projects. That was where what concretely should have been through projects. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I want to improve myself as a software engineer uh, through the development of projects, right? And so I will be producing something of value, and yeah, I will be producing something of value, and in that attempt to produce something of value, I will learn how to be a full stack engineer. That's the ideal. That said, um, like there's still Tuesday Smart Goals really helped me when I was learning infosec stuff. Yeah, like that's kind of the idea is I don't want to say smart goal. It's just literally taking a project or taking an idea and breaking it down and then be like, okay, I can't do this, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to do it. Which figuring it out may literally be, hey, person, could you come and, and help me, please? But that's kind of the idea. Anyway, sorry. Right. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'm going to improve as a software engineer through the building of projects. Improve as a full stack engineer through the building of projects. That said, that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to only stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and it also doesn't mean that I'm only going to stream me coding. Um, I I play video games. I play Street Fighter. I'm half decent at Street Fighter. I'm actually more than half decent at Street Fighter. Um, I would definitely like to play some Street Fighter, on the stream. It's kind of weird because this is kind of like my more professional stream, but I, I like say for instance, I kind of want to unwind, you know, on Tuesday at 6, and Street Fighter is probably the worst thing I could do to do that. But I kind of want to unwind, you know, and I just want to stream. I want to talk to people, you know, um, just pop on the stream. Maybe I don't just stream just coding on like Tuesdays or Thursdays. Um, maybe I'll stream like a not a podcast, but maybe like an interview with a friend, or we just talks. I don't want to say talk crap. Maybe we talk about the olden days of web development. You know what I mean? Or Like maybe, like for instance, on Tuesday, something that I've been interested in doing is kind of going over news. Like I've been trying to make that a habit. So maybe I can do that on Tuesday. I guess the point of this whole long thing is to say that I want to play around with the stream. I don't want to just concretely just write code on the stream, and that's all I do, and that's all you expect of me. Um because as much as I actually want to do that, that is not the only thing that I want to do. Like I have no problem coding for a long time. I mean, I've done very long streams where I've coded for a fair amount. Well, not that. Anyways, I've coded a lot, but you know, so the reason why I kind of stayed away from this before is because I watched a video and they were like, "Oh, if you don't want to be known as the variety streamer, you shouldn't stream other things because come in people will come in expecting you to stream one thing, and then you're streaming another thing and they'll just leave, you know. And I don't want to say that's fine because it's not. I obviously I do want to, this is a combination of entertainment and education. Um, but like I would also like this to be something that is also like enjoyable as well. I don't know. I don't know. Again, long story short is I want to do I want I since I'm at this point where I can say not safely, but I can experiment, and I was kind of encouraged to experiment. I'm an experiment, and I generally don't do that, and why not? It's fun, you know. So maybe I'll do something interesting. you know, I don't want to say I'm going to stream at wacky times. I'm not going to stream at 5 o'clock in the morning and start streaming me throwing a bottle at the screen or something crazy like that. But I don't know. I'll play around with some stuff. Um, I do mention Street Fighter because I do mention Street Fighter because of this one really interesting fact or fact. I don't want to say fact, but one really interesting observation that I noticed. So, my journey through software engineering has mainly stemmed through lack of information and my attempt to solve that problem. Like my years of being in the industry in some fashion or another has always kind of come down to some lack of information. And then really early on, I figured out that it was some lack of information. And then I just started trying to figure out where I can get the lack of information, get the lack of information, where I can get more information. And that's kind of been my journey, right? My journey has always been like, again, with the interview thing, the I what was it? Um my resume says one thing, and like people will be like, "Oh, you must know a lot," and then they'll talk to me and it's like, "Why don't you know as much as your resume says you do?" And I'm not lying on my resume. Like that experience is experience that I have, but the amount of time that I spent, doesn't equate into what people assume is a significant amount of experience, right? And that, on my part, is just a lack of what I'm supposed to be working on, right? Reason why I tell the story is because I had the same journey playing Street Fighter. In fact, a big thing for me is that I find that the skill set and the knowledge and how you approach things and the learning for getting good at fighting games, specifically Street Fighter at the very least, because that's my experience, is extremely similar to extremely similar to getting to becoming a software engineer. Uh, to the point of the lack of information. It's really difficult. Like in fighting games, it's more difficult because the basic stuff isn't it doesn't really exist. One, every fighting game is different. Like in programming, you know, there's kind of like a base understanding, and which is why it's so easy for more experienced people to kind of, why is this dust thing here? Sorry, this dust thing is here. I'm trying to get rid of it. Oh, that dust thing was a microphone. Yes, a blind. Anyways, um, what was I saying? Yes. So, in fighting games, you the basics of fighting games kind of exist, but not really. And the best way to kind of see that the basics of fighting games doesn't exist, like to learn the basics of fighting games, is to listen to people say that it takes them years to get to a particular point in a game, and there's like there's tutorial. I don't know. I feel like I probably have to go look at it, because definitely when I was coming up in fighting games, the basics, like learning what you're supposed to be doing, how to get better, it it really didn't exist. Um, Coding, programming really solved that problem. They have that problem kind of set. Getting better afterwards is still a problem. Like mid to senior, I definitely, as you're starting to approach mid, it becomes you kind of, unless you were given that information as a junior, and I personally wasn't. For the most part, I never got information from anybody. Oh, this thing is still bothering me. I never got information from anybody despite my best efforts, right? Despite asking. And anyways, um I just find the same lack of information, excuse me, the same lack of information. I find the lack of information that impedes growth is the same, but I also find that the growth itself and even the skills that you learn and how you leverage them are extremely similar. And so I do want to make an effort to play fighting games and talk about, because now I have a significant amount of experience in fighting games, to play fighting games, or at the very least to play Street Fighter and talk about just strategy in Street Fighter, and then blend that with software engineering, even though it may not necessarily be the same stream. But I would like to explore that because I really think that there is an interesting connection between fighting games, if nothing else, Street Fighter, um, the slower paced fighting game. You know what? Fighting games and programming and the way you think about problems in both things I feel are extremely similar. And so I want to explore that, and I can't explore that if I'm just coding. You know what I mean? Like I can talk about it, but it's hard to just talk about stuff like that and then not show you like, hey, look, I'm programming, da 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 da. But hey, this is how you would approach a problem. Oh, sorry. Hey, this is how you'd approach a problem. If you think about it, this is not that dissimilar from how you would approach a problem in fighting games. And I want to kind of explore that a little bit more because it's been interesting. It's been something I've been thinking about for like years. And I've been thinking about it because um I felt like my getting better at fighting games has improved my programming, my ability to develop, to write code, and vice versa, right? Now, for coding, there's a lot of techniques that I don't understand and don't know. But for fighting games, I'm a lot more experienced, even if I can't do the things physically. Like I can't do like the specific things. Like if you explain to me what's going on, it's like, oh, I understand. Oh, I understand what mechanisms you're leveraging for this thing to happen. So that's something I want to explore. I really want to explore that. And I think Street Fighter 5, which is the fighting game that I play, I think Street Fighter 5 is a really good way of doing that because it's slower paced than like other fighting games. So there's more, and I don't want to say there's more strategy because that is definitely an unfair comparison. Like every fighting game has a lot, is very strategic, but it's a lot more about being oh, I have the same issue, lack of information and foundational concepts being really simple, but also very under communicated. Yes, I completely agree. Um, I completely agree. Like, that is a huge issue. Like, not so much in general, like, not so much in learning software engineering, like learning to write code and to produce small applications, yes. But like once you start like trying to provide, you know, trying to really provide value for like a lot of users, like stuff like that information becomes really hard to come across, you know. Like, I mean, I was talking with, yeah, it just becomes really hard to come across. And like that's been a big issue for me. Um, but yeah, like, you know what? I'm no, no, I'm going to get distracted. Anyways, um, I want to explore the at the very least one thing I want to definitely explore the comparison of fighting games and software engineering. And if I don't come up with anything interesting, then I don't come up with anything interesting. But if I do, I think that would be interesting to show on stream. Um, then there's just like, hey, chill days, play some like things like Streets of Rage, or just play the new hot video game. I just don't want to be the programmer person. You know what I mean? Like, again, my schedule is these days I'm definitely doing code, but that doesn't mean that literally every time the stream turns on, I'm doing code, you know? So, that's kind of the idea right now. So that's kind of stuff I wanted to talk about today, mainly. Um, I guess the main reason why I don't want to, now I'm going to check this since we're kind of closer to the potentially to the end. Yeah, yeah, like I think it's a good idea, you know. And again, it's just about um it's just about figuring it's just about figuring out interesting stuff, you know. I can't stick around much longer, but I love the stream. We'll definitely tune in again. No, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. I mean, the stream's probably gonna shut off in a little bit anyway. Um, but yeah, like, so I'm gonna explore the streaming platform, if that makes sense. Just like, what can I do? Is it interesting? You know what I mean? Like there's stuff that's interesting to me, you know. I'm going to like, again, sure, I'm going to have the coding stuff, but I feel like I want to try other things in case they're interesting. Like I already described a really interesting scenario. What was the other thing? So I guess let's summarize what I talked about, um, for people who kind of just popped in, or for people who are catching the YouTube video kind of late or whatever. Um, so the first thing we spoke, well, let me start off with how it really should have been. The first thing I spoke about is the reason why there was no stream on Friday is because I got vaccinated, and then I got a fever that Friday, and that fever kind of put me out for the day. Um, I was pretty weak. I didn't eat anything, which made it worse. I didn't drink a lot of water, which also made, well, I don't know if it made it worse, but um, yeah, I wasn't feeling that great. I mean, I went through the weekend not feeling 100%, but feeling much better than Friday, which is why there was no stream. Second thing is that for the coding stuff, what we were doing before, we were making a to-do app, and we were using that app, making that app, and learning how to do full stack engineering from making that app. I'm probably not going to do that on stream anymore. My intention is to do one of two things or both. Is to either come up with my own ideas, to build. One of the things that I want to build is tech is hiring. So I'll probably start working on that. And yeah, so uh, come up with my own ideas, build those on stream, or find projects. I don't want to say only open source projects, but find projects and volunteer my time building those projects that are full stack. Those are full stack projects. And I would build those projects out or build those projects out. I would work with the team to build the projects out, and I will learn through that way. That through that. And then the third thing is that while the same schedule, at the very least, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, at 6 to at this point, I don't even have a time, but f definitely those times I'm going to be coding, but I would like to I'd like to do other things. And like one of the things I was talking about is play a little bit more Street Fighter 5 to explore the similarities between software engineering and the skill set of software engineering and the skill set for Street Fighter or for playing fighting games. Um, and just explore, just do other stuff, like just try things out. You know what I mean? Just be, just try things out. Maybe even have, like I said, have a chill stream. Have a come chat, on Twitch stream, like a just chatting stream. Just just try stuff out. Just try stuff out. Anyways, that is pretty much it. I'm not going to be coding today. I've been saying that I'm probably not going to. I should have just said I'm not going to be coding today. I'm not going to be coding today. I just wanted to kind of give an update on what I wanted to do with the channel um thus far. Um, I guess Wednesday we will start the Tech is Hiring project. Yeah, Wednesday we will start the Tech is Hiring project. Mm, and I don't know exactly what that will entail. Um, I'll probably I'll probably read up some project management stuff first for Wednesday so that we can kind of figure out what the MVP for it is, and then put together uh, put together stuff for for the project. Sorry, put together put together a game plan for the project. That'll probably even be Wednesday. That'll probably be what we'll be doing all day Wednesday. It's to putting together the game plan for the project. Like, yeah, putting together the game plan for the project. And then we will build it out. Right? Yeah, we will build it out. We will just kind of come up with the MVP, and then we'll build it out. And during that time, I will explore what you call it. I will explore potential open source projects, things that I can kind of that I'd be interested in um in contributing to, you know, um under the criteria that they're a full stack application and I would actually get some learning through it, you know. But that's kind of the ideal right now. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you everybody for coming. Let me talk about. I don't talk about this. I never do. Like, so I have a YouTube channel. Never talk about it ever. I have a YouTube channel. Chad Stewart on YouTube. Um, you have to look. You can search Chad Stewart on YouTube. The VODs for this um for this stream will be there. I also will make videos talking on just topics that is interesting to me. And yeah, so I would really appreciate subscribing to to that channel. I would really appreciate a follow here. Um, and yeah, that's about it. Yeah, I think that's it. So thank you very much for watching. Sorry, this is not the regular, um, you know, Chad writes code stream. But yeah, again, thank you very much, and you guys, you have a good one.